Welcome to USB Hole, the podcast where we talk out of our asses. I'm Chill,
I'm the child.
and today we will be talking about creepy people. And not creepy like ghosts, even though that would be fun, but creepy like people who are just weird. Creepy. I don't know.
Creeps.
Creeps, yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get into like anything kind of messy or like what someone would consider illegal, because we want to have fun on this podcast, not be a Debbie Downer, but I'll get into the stories that are kind of what I think to be more of above and beyond just like catcalling or being icky, stuff like that. So I thought I would start us off with a short story from the time I worked at the first pizza place I worked at, back from the Horrible Jobs podcast. This dude came in and he was ordering pizza, and the first thing he says to me, and I don't know if I was over 18 at the time, I worked there between the ages of like 15 and 21, but he walks up and he goes, I'm going to have to say the name of the place, but it's okay because it's closed. He goes, Jack Straws, why didn't they just call it Jack Off? Why wasn't the guy's last name Off? And I was like, that's not a funny joke. And also, I'm like 16 years old. Can you not? And that was the first thing he said to me. No hello, no how are you doing? Just asking why the guy's last name wasn't Off. And I was like, well, first off, Jack Straws isn't a person, so...
Yeah. Customers say some creepy stuff. I didn't even think about that kind of stuff when we talked about if we had these types of stories.
And like
so
I said, I
one.
wasn't going to talk about anything where it was like catcalling or anything, but I just thought that was kind of more funny of a joke.
Yeah.
Because that's a really weird thing to say to somebody.
Let me just jot this down real fast so I remember when it's my turn later.
That's like beyond a normal thing, a normal creepy thing to say.
Yeah.
Another quick story. So last week, my boyfriend and I, was that last week? I don't remember time. We were going to the beach and we were pulling up next to some person who had a camera sticking out of their car. Like on the driver's side, there was just a big like handle thing with a camera at the end of it. And I was like, what the fuck? So I was trying not to look over because I didn't want to be on camera. And all of a sudden I hear someone yelling, and we had the windows kind of up. They were like cracked a little bit. And so I was like, who's yelling? It was the lady next to us with the camera. And she was telling us that we are now famous because she's going to be sending our pictures to the FBI.
Why?
And I don't know. I mean, this is LA, so...
Just because you were next to her?
A lot of mental health issues out here, which is sad. But no, she was... I don't know. She didn't say why. She just kept saying, you're famous. You're going to be famous. I'm sending this to the FBI. You know what you did. And all this shit. And I was like, what the fuck? And Eddie was like, do you hear that? And I was like, of course I hear that. She's right next to me. And then she eventually turned away and like turned onto that street. We were going straight on, but that's a lot of the type of shit that you run into out here.
That's like it's like borderline creepy, borderline lady's got some issues, but you don't really want to like engage in it. Yeah.
Right. I mean, of course, a lot of creepy stems from people having mental health issues, and that's a problem in here, but also I have to deal with it, so I want to talk about my stories.
Yeah, of course.
So the next creepy tale I have is more kind of creepy on both of our ends, I would say. Because when people are teenagers, I mean, they do things that you could consider creepy more than not. because teenagers don't know what they're doing. They do stupid shit all the time that's weird. So I'm not going to say that I wasn't a creepy teenager, but this story involves someone I met from the internet. And did you ever go on to buddypick.com?
I don't think I know what that is.
So BuddyPick was something from probably like 2006-ish when I was in high school. And you could put your pictures on there and people on there can rate you. So instead of just going
like
around,
hot or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
So instead of just going around saying like that girl's a 10, you could actually do it on BuddyPick. So I don't remember my score. I want to say it was in like the 5s, which is just awful and disheartening. But I don't know. So I met this guy on there. Because you could also
like talk to people on there?
You could like rate somebody and then chat with them. So it's kind of like Tinder, but included ratings.
That's creepy.
Yeah, the website itself was creepy.
Yeah.
So I met this guy. I'll call him Bob because I can't think of anything better right now. It's not his name. So Bob and I started talking, and because my memory is complete trash, I don't even remember how we started talking, like how we even started becoming friends or anything. But I will tell you that BuddyPick did allow you to know where people lived.
What?
Yeah.
And you're in high school?
Yeah. So it didn't give like straight up addresses, but you could put like your town and your state and stuff, just like Tinder, so that people know how far away you are. And you could like search within a certain amount of miles from your house.
Were you supposed to be like over 18? Like people would lie, or like could actual like high school kids do this?
I mean, I'm almost positive my age was on there and I didn't lie about that. So
that's so creepy.
I think you just had to be 13.
Oh my gosh.
Because I was probably 15 when I started it.
These are reasons I would never let my kid have the internet. I don't have kids, so it's irrelevant, but it's so scary out there.
This is like the height, too, of stranger danger. And I mean, that was probably a little earlier, but everyone was like, don't go online, there's creeps. And I'm like, let's meet creeps online.
Yeah, I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, I've met so many people on the internet, but
same.
That's just creeping me out that you can like rate teenagers.
Well, it gets better. So I met someone on there and me and him were just talking, and we kind of just became friends because at the time he had a girlfriend, and even though I'm pretty sure he was totally okay to cheat on her, but he was also like 2 or 3 years older than me. So I was 15, he was like 18. So that's kind of creepy, number one. So I would say a couple years later, we talked for like years. And a couple years later, we actually met up. And so I was probably 16 or 17. I can't remember. Maybe I was 18 at this point. I don't know. Trash memory. And I was still living with my mom. And he came over to my house at 3:00 in the morning. First time ever meeting. And so
Did you invite him over, or he just showed up?
No, okay. I invited him.
Okay.
I said, we were both creepy in this scenario. So I invited him over. He actually came because he was one of those people who was just like flaky as fuck. So I was like, he's not even going to come. And he came. So I was like, my mom's here. Like, we can't do anything. It's 2 or 3 in the morning. Like, you're just coming over to hang out. So he says he's here, and I walk to the door.
Who goes to someone's house just to hang out at fucking 2 or 3 in the morning?
Weirdos. So I walk to the door with a knife in my hand. And I open the door, and it's him. Like, he looks exactly like he looked online. And so we go up to my room, which was a total disaster. I was disgusting as a teenager, and my room was just a mess. And I was like, sorry for the mess, as you have to walk through like 2 feet of crap.
Because I'm a teenager, you
Yeah.
creepy dude.
A teenager who doesn't clean her room, she says with a puzzle behind her. So
Stop hating on that puzzle.
well, at least the floor is clean. People not on video version can't see this. So he comes over and we literally just hang out for probably like half an hour because I was like, I gotta go to bed. And it was the weirdest shit. And I was like, I don't know why he even came over, because I lived in one town and he lived in another town probably a good 25 minutes away.
I can tell you why he came over. He was trying to get his dick wet.
I told him there was no sex happening.
Dudes don't care about that.
I also told him, like, he had a girlfriend.
Still doesn't care about that.
He dated her for like 6 or 7 years, and I was like, I need to find her because I need to tell her what's going on because this is terrible. And I felt terrible.
You don't show up at somebody's house that you don't already know in person after midnight without thinking that there's going to be something happening.
Well, then he didn't believe me because I was like, my mom's home, so like, no. So we just hung out in my bed for like half an hour, and I was like, yeah, go home. So I really just wanted to meet him to see if he was real, and then also to see if he would actually come over, and his bitch ass did. So there's that. So then you guys are going to get my virginity story in this one.
Oh,
so we still continued talking for a while, and I mean, I was 15, like 16 years ago. So at this point, I've known him longer than I haven't. But I turned 18, and he was broken up with his girlfriend, I think. That's what he said.
Are you guys still friends now? Like, are you in contact?
No. Because about like 3 years ago, he got a new girlfriend and all of a sudden can't talk to people anymore.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, well, I've had a boyfriend this whole time. Well, not the whole time. Not the whole time.
I threw off the timeline when I interrupted. Sorry.
So I turned 18. It was probably... When was it? It was the night before my graduation party. So it was sometime in June. I don't remember how it happened. Why is my memory so trash? So he asked me to come over one night. I was at my friend's house, and we were hanging out, like 3 of us, and one of them was going to go get some dick. So I was like, I want some dick. And I was a virgin at the time. So I hit him up. I think I hit him up and was like, what are you doing? And he was like, you should come over. And I was like, okay. So I went over to his house and went upstairs to his bedroom, and we started like I'm not going to get into details, but we started getting into it. And all of a sudden someone knocks on his bedroom door, and it's his mom. Didn't know he was living with his parents. Apparently they were downstairs because it was a townhome with like 3 floors. So there was like basement, living room floor, and then bedroom. His bedroom was at the top. They were in the basement watching a movie or something. And she heard me come in and like saw my shoes in the foyer and like knocked on the door, and she was like, Bob, you got to do the dishes. And he was like, I'm busy right now. And she's like, I told you to do the dishes earlier, so you need to come do them right now. And he was like, Mom, you gotta leave. And she's like, I'm not leaving from this door until you do the dishes. And I was like...
So she's like doing this because she knew that there was a chick in there? Okay.
And at the time, he was inside me.
Sick burn, Mom. Sick burn.
As he's having a conversation with his mom, we are having sex.
Oh,
like, God. That was the most awkward thing that could possibly happen while losing your virginity, I think.
I mean, at least it was his mom and not yours.
My mom wouldn't do that. My mom's not a fucking narc. And also at the time, since he was 3 years older than me, he was 21 years old. Like, just let your kid get his rocks off. Jesus Christ. So he was like, she is not going to leave until we stop. So we stop. No one got off. We get dressed. And he opens the door and he's like, all right, I'll be there in a fucking minute. Like, chill. So she was like, okay, whatever. And she went back downstairs. So I never met her. I just stayed like in a corner of the bedroom where she could not see me. And even though she knew I was there, like we were being so weird about it. So he like snuck me out of the house and then went inside and did the dishes.
That's so weird.
So not only was he creepy for coming over, me creepy for asking him without us even meeting. And then his mom being a creep, just standing outside the door while her son is getting dick. Or her son's not getting dick. Giving dick, I guess.
Oh, God.
And so the story of how I lost my virginity plus creepy people all wrapped up in one.
All right. That mom really ruined that for you.
Oh, yeah. And he was the second person I had sex with after that, so at least we, like, redeemed ourselves, I guess, but that was a weird night.
Oh, like in the future?
Yeah, like a couple months later.
I misunderstood, and I was like, wait, if he's the second person you had sex with, that you didn't lose your virginity?
No.
I'm dumb.
No, like...
Yeah, I got it.
I think we had sex 2 or 3 times, so... We eventually got there.
His mom present for the other 2?
No, we did it at my house while my mom was not in the house.
All right. I don't have like good stories. Like when you were telling me that one about the guy at work, that made me think about I worked in an office at a job where like all of the techs were dudes. And like for the most part, some of like they were pretty decent guys, but like sometimes like one of the dudes would warn you, they're like, hey, don't really talk to so-and-so, they're kind of a perv, or, you know, you need to make sure you have thick skin because they're going to say inappropriate things, and yeah, you can say something back to them, but like it will happen. I'm like, well, first of all, no, like you should be telling employees they're not allowed to talk like that at work, but that's beside the point. And I will straight up stand up all the time. But so my first day working at this job, now mind you, I worked in the office, and my dad works in the office at the same company. So a couple people, and my dad has worked at that point in time, like before I worked there, that I had known several people from there for years and years because I've been going there and like seeing people because my dad worked there. Well, when I got the job there, like they didn't know I was related to him because I didn't tell anybody when I applied for the job and interviewed with the other, like the operations manager instead of the office manager. So like the people who didn't already know me didn't know that I was related to him. Right. So like they're all having their like little meeting in the morning, and they come over like later in the afternoon, and the one guy who's pretty cool, like we're still friends now. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to say the names just in case somebody works there. So like, yeah, so-and-so was standing at the meeting this morning and turns around to everyone who's like, damn, did you see the new girl's tits? They're huge. And then everyone like turns and they're like, and then because my dad's standing there at this meeting. And the one dude turns around and goes, yeah, that's Walt's daughter. And my dad is just looking at him like so straight-faced, trying to like not say anything. He didn't want to be the one to like tell everybody because he knew that like I was trying to not necessarily keep it a secret, but you know, like I'm not into nepotism and that kind of stuff. So he didn't, you know, want people thinking that I worked there or that I would be treating differently or whatever. So like, I didn't say anything. So it was just so funny because the dudes that knew me just like looked at him like, dude, you're fucked. Like you just picked the wrong person to try to talk about someone's tits to. So yeah, that dude was definitely eating crow. When he came into the office later that day, he's like, I'm really sorry that I made a comment about you. Because he's like, you just know that everyone's going to come tell me what happened. Oh, but So I mean, like that. After that, that guy was really nice, and like at one point in time, he's like, if I wasn't married, I'd probably ask you on a date. And I'm like, well, one, no, and two, no. But yeah.
I mean, asking coworkers out on a date is already a slippery slope. Like,
Yeah.
you
Well, there's
probably
also
shouldn't, but also YOLO. Like,
there's like a 30-year age difference, and
oh,
the dude was a
yikes.
creep, and like
Well,
the
that's what I'm
age
saying.
difference. Yeah.
The whole thing of him coming out of the gate a creep is the worst
Yeah.
part of that.
Like the age difference doesn't bother. Like age differences don't bother me. That's not a thing for me. Um, I like old dudes.
30 years is a lot, though.
But yeah, so I'm like, that's creepy. And then at the same job, there was a different dude. Like I had worked there for like 3 years at this point, and this other new guy started that like always would just say things that he thought were funny that nobody thought was funny. And the one day he came into my office and I was doing something, and I worked on like a dual monitor computer system, like with different programs and stuff. So like I'm in the middle of doing something and he needs me to like write down a phone number or something for him. So I continue doing what I'm doing. So I'm ambidextrous. Okay. So I'm doing what I'm doing with my right hand. So I'm writing the phone number down with my left hand on this little Post-it note for him. And he's like, are you left-handed? And I was like, no, like clearly I'm doing two things. And he's like, oh, that's cool. He's like, so you can use both hands stuff? I was like, oh, I'm ambidextrous. I can write with both hands. And he's like, I bet your boyfriend likes that. And I was like, no, that's inappropriate. Get out of my office. And then again, like turns around and he's like laughing and he's like trying to tell the other guys that are turning in their papers at the end of the day, like, haha, isn't this funny? And again, they're standing there next to my desk.
Oh my God.
And they're just like, no, dude, like, don't say shit like that. But I'm like, I don't care. It's like, I will joke with people, but at work, like, that's an HR thing and a sexual, like, no. So I just, like, shot him down. I was like, that's inappropriate. Get out of my office. Like,
yeah.
But, like, who says that to somebody? It was, like, his third day, and he had never had a conversation with me before, and you'd be like, oh, I bet your boyfriend likes that. Well, first of all, maybe I don't have a boyfriend, well, which I didn't, because, I'm single mingle, but no, that's not what I meant to say. Single mingle? What does that mean? I don't know.
Single and ready to mingle?
No, I don't know, but a single Pringle, that's the that's the phrase that I thought I was saying. But I'm like, no, like, first of all, don't assume that I like dudes. And second, that's gross.
He was just saying that because he wanted you to say, oh, I don't have a boyfriend.
Yeah, but either way, that's gross. I mean, like, if one of my friends said that to me, like, if you said that to me, and I had a boyfriend, you were like, oh, I bet so-and-so likes that. Like, that'd be different because we're friends and we can have that conversation.
Yeah.
But that's, like, don't say stuff like that to your coworkers.
Yeah, like me and my coworker are close, so we could say shit like that to each other, but we already established a friendship outside of work.
Yeah.
Like, we're not just...
And you set your boundaries and stuff.
Right,
like, that's
right.
gross.
Also, what he said is even wrong because I'm not ambidextrous and I can use both hands.
Right?
So, checkmate.
That's actually one thing I can't do with my left hand.
Really?
Yeah.
I just get tired easier. I'm sure my boyfriend's going to love me talking about this on a podcast.
Sorry.
So, I do have a creepy coworker story. That was actually my next one. What a perfect thing. I can't think of words today. Yeah. I just ruined it. So this guy I worked with, he actually didn't work with us at first. His girlfriend did. And so I was kind of close with her. Like, I was kind of close with all my coworkers at the specific place. And we all kind of hung out outside of work sometimes. Like, I went over to her house to carve pumpkins and stuff for Halloween, stuff like that. So he would be there and I knew him. But then he started working with us. And so all of us at work pretty much had each other's phone numbers so we could text each other instead of calling all the time. So, like, if I needed a landscaper or a maintenance person to do something, I could just text them or put in a work order instead of calling. So he had my number and he started texting me one day, and he was an alcoholic, so I think he was probably drunk at the time. And he was like, He was telling me, I wish I had the text because I did save them and now they're gone. But he was talking about how he wanted to hook up or whatever. And I was like, well, that's extremely inappropriate because you have a girlfriend. You also work with my boyfriend. Like, why would you say something like that to someone? That's just disrespectful. And especially since he knew my boyfriend, like, that's weird.
Yeah.
So I was just like, no, what would my boyfriend and your girlfriend think? Like, why would you think that's okay? And he was like, oh, they can join. I was like, excuse me?
That's the solution. Just bring everybody in.
Yeah.
That makes it less inappropriate.
I was like, not only am I not hooking up with you, I'm not having an orgy with you either. Like, we're not just
Thanks,
gonna
buddy.
be a swingers club. And I don't think they were even swingers to begin with. I don't know what happened behind closed doors, but I never like saw people at their house because I lived down the block from them or like saw them go anywhere, and I don't know. So I was just like, that's weird. So I block him, but then like I work with him. So it's like, what do you do? We didn't have HR. That wasn't a thing. And also, I was friends with his girlfriend. So I was like, do I say something to her? I think she knows he's kind of a creep already. And I just didn't because I didn't care that much. I'm terrible. But like, they broke up. They were on and off all the time. And like, they lived together and then didn't live together. And then it was a mess. And I was like, I am not getting into this. And I'm not becoming a part of this, because she was the type of person who would be like, well, it was probably you started it. Like, it's your fault.
Like, you didn't need to open up like a whole other box of bullshit drama that didn't have anything to do with to begin with. Like,
he was already a box of drama.
Yeah.
Because I know she would have made it my fault in some way. So I was like, you know what? None of my business. I just blocked him and moved on. I told my boyfriend about it, but I was like,
did he cut him up?
No, because he needed that job.
Damn.
We just weren't worried about this guy. Like, he wasn't a threat.
Yeah.
So I was just like, block him and move on, because I don't care. But yeah, that was the first time I was ever invited to an orgy, I guess. So
the first time?
Well,
how many orgies have you been invited to? Oh, like, damn, how many orgies have you been invited to?
I think the
like,
only
let's
time.
change the topic.
Might have been something when I was a teenager, but we're not going to go into that because I said nothing illegal.
Okay.
So, so this next story, I feel like I need to read the letter that he sent me for you to get the full effect of how this is going to go. And this is a guy I worked with at the first pizza place. So it's hard to read because every single word is misspelled. So please forgive me. And he sent me this on Facebook before Facebook Messenger was a thing, but basically Facebook Messenger. The premise is he asked me who I had a crush on while we were at work, and I told him. And so the person who I had a crush on, we're going to call Jeff, because his name is in this letter. So here's the letter starting. Even if I expected you to say Jeff, it's still disappointing. Ah, well, I have 5 months. Tongue emoji. Cheers. P.S. If you were sincere from personal experience, crushes should be put away from mind, because even if you get with them, it is never right, usually one-sided. Sometimes what you want is enter. Oh.
It's enter?
The enter was automatically put in by Facebook. Because he accidentally hit enter before finishing. My dumbass read that. All right.
It's enter. Oh, God.
I gotta get through this. We have like 7 minutes. All right. Sometimes what you want is not Here, you're looking. HTF, did I send that without meaning to? I'm assuming that means how the fuck. He's like typing his thoughts, and I can't even read this. Okay. Goddamn 11 hours of shit. Focus. Write them sometimes. What is this? Write them sometimes. It's not always what you'd expect either. Keep an open mind. Well, it would do me a solid if you did. Cheers. Lastly, while being honest, don't lose weight. You said 30 pounds, unless you do that with a third of it being in your boobs. Proportionally wouldn't work. You're not fat, you're not thin, you're without a doubt the most beautiful girl at work. So unless you want to be Barbie, blonde, thin, big boobs, do yourself a favor and realize how gorgeous you are, please.
Man, this letter is really winning me over.
I can't handle this.
You're the most beautiful girl at work.
It's not saying much.
Like, the people at work might be ugly as fuck. Like, what is that?
And they were like mostly dudes. It really bothers me when genuinely good-looking people are self-conscious. What? Conscious. I can't read. The media tells us to like gross, rib-popping out, wanna barf, anorexic whores.
Wow.
First off, not my views on things. 20 beautiful, never had a boyfriend. Oh, I was 20 years old, apparently. Why in God's name would you say that's tragic? It means you're holding out for something right, and be is what's tragic. Males your age are morons. And listen to the media. So seriously, you're beautiful, hands down the prettiest at work. There it is again, the backhanded comment. So if you want Jeff, be honest and talk to him. Though, well, I'm insane, so I won't pretend I have a chance with you. As crazy as I am, I'm not that crazy. Cheers, pet. Just follow your heart to Jeff.
Cheers.
Just follow your heart to Jeff or to whomever. He used whom out of all this.
Oh, God. At least he used it properly.
Love hurts more than I'd care to admit, but it's worth it. So if it's consuming you, ask, is it obsession or real? If the latter, go for it. You don't want to be here 30 years from now married to some guy who you love, in quotes, and wondering if you could have had Jeff, man. Live, love...
Oh, God, this dude's so jealous of Jeff.
Live, love, be free, pet. I want one of those.
I'm going to make you something, okay?
Instead of live, laugh, love. It says live, love, be free, pet. You're truly one of the most amazing birds I've ever met. So please.
Is he British?
He thinks he is, I guess. We used to ask him. He said he's never been there, so I don't know.
Oh, God.
You're one of the most amazing birds I've ever met, so please be happy. Please go for your dreams. Live and just love, man. Be free. Self-conscious, worried for someone as beautiful, as talented as you. Come on, make that chode grow some balls or go back to being a bird. Why do I have a chode? I feel like that was an inside joke. I'm crying.
Hey, guys, if you don't watch the video version of this normally, you need to watch Sarah's emoji face.
Okay.
This is great. This is some good fucking content right now.
Cheers, pet. And yes, I'm Smash. And yes, I'm going to challenge you. You told this other guy I worked with, I'm not giving him a name, you liked him and got weird. He got weird. I didn't get weird. Just for the record. I say don't pursue crushes and choose not to lie, and I'm being honest and saying I do think about you and I don't believe in crushes, but for the first time in my life, I feel I've met someone that I'd regret if I didn't tell them I thought of them. That's so much pressure. Normally, I just wait it out, pine, and it goes away. For once, I actually would rather you know I think you're amazing before I let you go. Now
He's rhyming now. So this dude's writing this whole letter about how he doesn't believe in crushes, but it's just a crush. Like,
Yeah.
he's just telling you about his crush on you. And he's
As
like
I
an
said,
adult.
He's like 27 at the time he
Oh
wrote
my
this.
god.
As I said, don't be 50 pining over someone you may have loved. I choose not to, so I choose to be honest so I can have no regrets and marry whomever the fuck I do. He didn't use any periods, so I'm sorry. I do and not say what I would have happened. Also, in the spirit of honesty, what you know of me is a fraction. The shit you've heard you think is insane is the stuff I personality felt is work appropriate. And whether balls to pussy, most pain of my life, or what the fuck, well, pain really is no deal, no physicality. It's getting weird. But know that I always protect anyone I care about, even a fraction. So yes, you're on that list. And yes, that's why I say go for Jeff, if you mean it. I'm not selfish. I want what I want, but more than anything, I want those I care about to be happy. No matter how crazy I am, I don't push, as in push, all caps, negative influences. As I asked you if you wanted smoke, you said no. It's whatever. I don't, come on, man, Biloxi wanker balls. I'm straight, so whatever, just something to chew on either way. And I'm taking what you said about what the fuck, other guy, 3 months to get back to normal. That means I can't do that with a straight face. That means you never mentioned this to anybody, and if I'm dreaming, then this didn't happen. And if, well, you were interested now or in the future, you could stop thinking about Jeff for a second. You'll let me know. I truly am glad you brought up Jeff, because I finally got the courage to ask you out during dishes, and rejection does suck. So that's the letter.
That, I hope that guy's listening to this.
I hope he's not.
I mean, also, I hope he's not, but it would be really fucking fun if he could tweet us at Chill and Child on Twitter, at Chill and Child.
I don't even know if he has social media. I mean, he does have Facebook. I don't know if he uses it, but I haven't seen him on anywhere else.
I don't even know where to begin to unpack this letter. Do that emoji face again for me real fast. Okay. Yeah, dude wrote like a 10-paragraph letter about how crushes are dumb, but like it's just about him telling you he has a crush on you.
No,
just,
I think he was
hammered.
more. I think it. Well, yeah, that was a thing, but I think it was more he was telling me, don't have a crush, like figure it out immediately instead of just silently crushing on someone and not telling them. Because like obviously the crush doesn't immediately go away, but like you'll know their stance on it.
Right.
And you'll either date or you don't.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is why he said he told me, but then I rejected him while he was in the basement doing dishes. And then they left me alone with him to close, and I was like, well, fuck.
Did you read this letter to other people at work, or this message?
I sure did.
I know I keep thinking it's like a letter that came in the mail. That would have been so much.
I mean, it was over Facebook, so it's kind of like a love letter. I definitely sent it to people. I'm pretty sure I sent it to Jeff. Like after he knew I liked him.
Yeah. And Jeff is a fictitious name, right?
Yeah. His name is not Jeff.
Okay.
If he heard this though, he would know who it is, and also most people probably would.
I just feel like you did such a good job of saying Jeff every time as if it were actually the name. Yeah.
Super proud.
It was very believable that the person's name was Jeff.
It's not. And the other guy I didn't give a name to, but I did tell him that I liked him, and he stopped talking to me.
Okay, well, good thing you got that crush out.
Yeah. And he was my boss. So
Oh, yeah.
your
All right,
boss
little
not
pet.
talking to you for like months
Way to be a
is
little
very
bird.
awkward. Yeah. But then I was this guy's boss, so
Oh.
I'm not the type of person who stops talking to people when they tell me they have a crush on me. Like, it's not their fault, and I'm not a dick. So
I can't help it. I'm so great.
yeah, I can't. I mean,
It's
you
not their
know,
fault.
but apparently I'm the most beautiful person that worked there out of all the men.
At work. Once again, you were this beautiful person at work.
that got me. I was like, there's literally like 3 women that work here right now, and I'm the most beautiful. Great.
But you're just only the most beautiful
At work, not anywhere else.
like not in town, not that he knows, not in the world, just out.
And it's funny because this is like, this was in 2011, so this had to only be a couple months. Well, let's see. It was March of 2011. So that was 4 months before me and my current boyfriend started dating. And he also worked there and also read this letter at some point. We started dating. He was like scared that this guy was going to kill him.
Oh my god.
Because like he was on a lot of drugs. He was always drinking, wasn't all mentally there all the time. So it was like, you don't know what he could have done. And he was a nice dude. So I was like, he's not going to do anything, but you never know. So
Yeah. I wish Cut Him Up had Twitter so he could tweet me.
I know.
It's the only way I want to communicate with people.
He said he has enough social media, which I feel that, so.
Can he just write something down and then give it to you to read to me? Can you just text me from your phone?
Sure.
I'd like to hear from you, Cut Him Up.
Are we talking about from this one or just in general?
I mean, in general, but also specifically about this too.
He used to work with the guy I lost my virginity to.
Oh.
You want to hear that story? I might as well. I already talked about it.
He also, wait, the creepy dude from the online picture thing?
Yeah.
They worked together?
They did at one point.
Wow, what a small little world.
So me and my friend went to, I'm not going to say the name of it, but it was a little restaurant that my boyfriend worked at the time because we wanted to visit him, and also it had really good ass food. So I was like, I'm going to bring my best friend here. We're going to hang out. We'll see my boyfriend when he's not busy, whatever. So all of a sudden she was just like, there's some dude over there that has been staring at you for the longest time. He has a really nice butt, so you need to look over. And I was like, okay. So I look over, and it was the guy I lost my virginity to as like a bar back at this place. And I was like, what the fuck?
Oh my gosh.
So my boyfriend comes out, and I was like, hey, by the way, in case he says something to you, because I want to get to you first. I lost my virginity to that guy. And this is really awkward. And he walked away and was mad at me. And I'm not going to get into that because we're over it now, but I was like, what the fuck? Why is he mad at me? I just wanted to tell him before this dude because this dude was a dick sometimes. So what was I calling him? Bob. So yeah, Bob was a dick sometimes. So I was afraid of what he might say. Like, I don't know if he was going to lie to him or not say anything, or like be like, hey, I fucked your girlfriend. Like,
yeah,
I just didn't want anything to start. So I was like, I'm going to get ahead of this. And then we didn't talk all day. So whatever. So the next creepy thing was, I used to work in a small town. The place I got fired from. And
wait, you worked at a small town?
In a small town.
Oh, okay.
My nose is getting kind of stuffy from talking so much. So being in a small town, I didn't live there. I didn't live anywhere near there. I was probably like 30 minutes away in DeKalb for school. So I can't remember how it came about, but all of a sudden, people who come in would be like, "Oh, are you Sarah?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, it's nice to meet you." And they would just talk to me about something that I was a part of. And I was like, "Who are you?" And it just kept happening. And it was happening to Eddie too, because he worked across the street. And all these people knew us, and we had no idea who they were. This was a town of like less than 5,000 people.
That's
And I was
crazy.
like, I am never living in a small town because this is the creepiest, like, Silence of the Lambs shit I have ever seen. And then this lady came in and she was like, "Oh, you're Sarah, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, telling me all this shit. And I was like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm this guy's mom, a guy we worked with." And I was like, "So these people are just talking to their moms about me? Like, what is happening?" And it seemed like it was just like somebody I worked with knew somebody else that they talked about me with. And I was like, why is everyone talking about me? What
Keep
is
my
this
name
town?
out your mouth.
Right. And that's how I got fired. So not only is it creepy, but it was annoying. So I was kind of glad to be out of that town. But the fact that that guy talked to his mom about me was kind of cute and also kind of creepy. It was like,
Yeah.
why? Why were you talking to her about me?
I
But
mean, I
I had
talked
a
to
boyfriend at
my
the
mom
time.
about, yeah. I talk to my mom about everybody because I tell my mom pretty much everything that ever happens to me.
But it was like the way she talked to me, she was like, "Oh, you're just as great as he said in person.
Oh,
I know
weird.
all, like, I've heard so much about you." It's like, how much are you talking to your mom about me, dude? Fucking
My
weird.
mom's like, oh, fuck, you talking to Sarah again? Tell her to shut up.
Literally 24/7.
Yeah.
So these last two people, the guy I worked with, I need a name for him. I need a name for both of them. We'll call one Jack Straw's guy and one, I can't name the other place. It's still open.
Um, Aaron.
Okay, Aaron. It's not his name. So
What if it
I,
was? That would have been funny. Like,
that
how
would
the
have been
fuck did I
funny.
know that? I'm not you. I'm not psychic.
I probably would have still used it because I would have faked like that wasn't his name. So I can't remember what year it was because memory, shit, trash. We know this.
You're so good at
Um,
telling stories.
Shut up. My stories are great.
It was
So
2000 something.
probably like 2011. We'll say that. So I walk out to my car. I was the manager that night. So last one to leave, lock up. Walk out to my car. I look at the tire and there's a bag next to it. And I'm like, that bag wasn't here when I got here. So I pick up the bag and there's a bunch of shit in it, like a CD, a burned CD, 2011. There was a gift card to Chili's, I think. And there was like a candy and like all this other shit in a card that said like happy birthday, but no signature. And this
Was it your
was
birthday?
a couple days after.
Okay.
So, because I probably didn't work that weekend because it was my birthday, so it was my first day back. So I get in my car and I'm texting Eddie because we're dating at the time, so it had to be 2011 or 12. No, 2012. So I text him and I'm like, "There's a bunch of shit next to my car. Should should I bring it over to your house?" Like, I'm scared of it. And so I texted everyone who was working and I was like, "Did you all drop anything out of your car?" And everyone was like, "No, it's not mine." So I was like, okay, I'm going to listen to the CD while I'm in my car and see what the fuck's on it. It was like weird ass renditions of Happy Birthday, like weird and like
That's so
weird
scary. I would
weird
not have listened to it.
instrumentals, like these creepy ass instrumentals. And I was like, I don't listen to music without words, so I'm scared and this sounds creepy to me. And I don't know what this is, but I'll take a fucking Chili's gift card. Like, you want to send me a Chili's gift card? Go for it, because I will eat it at Chili's. I have no standards. So I get to Eddie's house, and he was like, "What the fuck?" Like, obviously, I have a boyfriend, so it was like, is one of my friends playing a prank and they did this and no one would fess up. And guess who else was working that night that left like 10 minutes before I did? Love letter dude. So I'm assuming it was him.
It was Aaron?
No, Aaron's the guy that works at the small town place.
Oh,
Love letter dude was the other guy. Jack
He didn't
Straw's
have
guy.
a name? Oh, he didn't have a name. Right.
No, Jack Straw's guy. So, which is also, he has the same name as the guy I lost my virginity to. I don't know what's wrong with me. So I'm assuming it was him, because who the fuck else was it? And who wouldn't sign their name, like if they were friends or like we hung out? Because I was friends with most of my coworkers. So assuming it was him, never got an answer, moved on with my life. A year later, or maybe 2 years later, again, trash. I go out to my car a few days after my birthday, and there's an envelope like stuck in my window, like in the window door area, that has a card that says happy birthday. And I was like, here we fucking go again.
Is this how you get murdered?
I know, dude. So I open up the card and it had $100 bill drops out. So whoever the fuck did this just left $100 bill on the outside of my car and a gift card to Subway this time. But that was it. There was like no bag, no CDs, no nothing.
That person was literally somewhere there watching to make sure someone else didn't take that. They were watching you.
That's why I don't think it was the same person.
That's creepy.
Because, one, the new place I worked at was over 35 minutes away from the old place, which was already 15 minutes away from Jack Straw guy house. So that would have been an hour drive for him. He didn't have a car. He used his mom's car, and I don't think she'd be okay with that. And also, like, he would have been at work. So Eddie, my boyfriend, thinks that it was him. I don't. And also, like, I feel like he would have stayed out and watched. Like you're saying, he would have watched for me to grab it. There was no other cars around. Like, there were no people. It was a back lot. And like,
dude, this is how you get murdered.
I walked around that whole street because it was like a block. Everywhere. Nothing.
You walked around by yourself.
Yeah.
You were just like, let me get murdered.
It was like,
let me find someone to murder me.
It was like 3 p.m. I was going to my car for a cigarette. It wasn't even like end of shift thing. So, yeah, and I was in a small town on like back roads with no one else around.
Oh my God, this is so creepy. Don't do this. If you go to your car and something is taped to it, go the fuck back inside and get somebody else to come out with you. Don't go looking for who put it there.
I don't think there was anyone really else working except for like someone who had to, at that point, someone would have to stay in there in case a customer calls. So
this sounds like this is sketchy.
So the first guy knew, Jack Straw guy knew I did not like Subway. So that is reason number 2 why I don't think it was him. Reason number 3 was I didn't find anybody around. So reason why I think it's Aaron. Number 1, he wasn't on that shift. So he could have been like, because we have like morning and night shift, you know, and some people stay all day, some people don't. He didn't work morning or night shift. He was off that day. Reason number 2, he lived next door to the place that we worked. He could have watched out his window and seen if anyone taken it without me knowing.
That's so
and
creepy.
He was home. He was home that morning. He left like right after I found it.
Yeah, and I mean so, that really adds up.
So I did what I did at the other place when I got the first one was text everybody who worked there besides Aaron. And every single person said no, and most people are like, why the fuck would I do that?
Yeah.
And I think someone did ask him, and he didn't admit to it.
That's so creepy, though. I would be freaked out. I would not want to go back there again.
And another reason why I think it was him, the week before I told him that I was low on money.
So I was like, here's some money.
Not to like try and get money from people. I wasn't doing like a fucking work GoFundMe. I mean, we all made jack shit at that job.
Yeah.
But he was also like, I'm not going to go into it, but he had like a second job. So he had some money. But I was like, because I asked my one friend who worked there and he was like, why the fuck would I ever give you money? I was like, good point. But I have to ask.
So like I heard part of this story via text like a while, like I don't know, like when we first became friends, I think. But like it wasn't as in depth as this. This is like way creepier than I thought.
Yeah. So I feel like I don't know because he never. I know I was dating Cut Him Up pretty much the whole time I knew him. And so he like never, I don't know if he liked me. He never made a move. But I think it was out of respect that he knew my boyfriend. So like, but also
like,
he could have just
secretly fucking creepily put some shit on your door instead.
I have no proof it was him. And I have no proof that he had feelings for me either. So, because when my boyfriend and I broke up, he didn't ask me out then either. So, but he could have been with his current wife at the time. I don't know. So I have no concrete proof of anything, and that is what keeps me up at night. Like, I don't care if it was him, and I don't care if the first guy was who he was, because I was friends with both of them. Like, it wouldn't have creeped me out. I just wanted to know. The fact that I don't know is what creeps me out.
Yeah. If you're one of these dudes that did this and you're somehow listening to this, like, you need to let us know.
It's not embarrassing. Please just tell me. I am dying.
If you don't even want Sarah to know, you can just tell me.
She's going to tell me.
At the child official, if you don't want to hit up the main podcast, or just like hit up Sarah on Facebook, like, come on.
Or just fucking text me. Can someone just please tell me who put these stupid fucking, not stupid, they were nice. Like, I was grateful for them, but I want to know. Like, I wasn't going to try and give it back. Like, I wasn't going to make fun of you or tell anybody. I just want to know who it was. Like, this has been 10 years of keeping me up at night.
Also, if you'd like to put $100 on my car window, I'd be down with that, but as long as I know first.
Actually, I don't need to know. If you want to just put $100 on my car, like, it's out front, go for it. You don't know where I live, but go for it.
That's the creepy part, though.
Yeah, that is the creepy part. Unless my boyfriend does it, this is going to be super creepy.
Oh my god, could you imagine Cut Him Up just goes outside and tapes some shit to the car just to fuck with you? And he's like, nah, I didn't listen to this episode.
I might cry.
Yeah, like, he'll just pretend he didn't listen to this one, and he really did, and he's just like, put stuff on the car.
I can see who listens to each one. I can't. That was a lie.
What? You know what would be even creepier? If your car was still in Illinois.
Oh my god,
your mom went outside and the shit was on the car. That would be really scary.
That'd be so scary. That's all the creepy stories I had.
I wish I had some cool stories like that to tell, but also I don't want to get creeped out.
Yeah, so. Cool. My fucking life. I'm the most beautiful person at the job.
You're the most beautiful person at work.
And I have a super cool life where I get creepy fucking people all around me.
I mean, they might not be cool, but they're so, like, interesting. Way more interesting than the two dumb stories that I had where people just make fucking inappropriate comments to me.
Yeah. And I mean, I've gotten inappropriate comments. I just figured that wouldn't be as fun as these stories.
That's just, like, literally all I had.
I mean, being women, that's pretty much par for the course, unfortunately. Yeah. But
you have boobs, like, it's your entire life. It's just people talking about them.
When I was in 6th or 7th grade, these girls at my lunch table asked me to jump up and down because they didn't believe my boobs were real.
Oh my god.
I was 12.
That's ridiculous.
Like, of fucking course they're real. and they're spectacular. We're gonna get demonetized for Seinfeld references.
Oh god. I want to text you a video because I'm definitely not going to share it on the internet. But a couple of years ago for Thanksgiving, I think it was like, what year is this? 2022. So when like 2020's Thanksgiving, I just did like, it was literally 4 people at my house because pandemic. So Brandy came because her family lives in another state. So she, everybody, like the other people left, and just me and Brandy were chilling out, having a smoke, and we put the phone on time lapse. And we just, like, obviously, so like we're just chilling at the house, and we're not wearing bras because fuck bras, you know what I mean? And we've been best friends for like almost 30 years, so we don't need to wear bras around each other if we have shirts on. Like we're wearing shirts. Let me put that in for people who might assume we weren't. We're wearing shirts and no bras. And so we put the shirt or the phone on the slow-mo, not time-lapse, slow-mo. And we just like fucking jump up like and then back down. And the slow-mo is just fucking, oh my god, it's hilarious, but also ridiculous. And because we both are very large-breasted women, and
I feel like I'd slap myself in the face.
Yeah, I want to text it to you because it's hilarious, but I would not share it with anybody else.
Sorry, we will not do that on a podcast.
Yeah. I mean, it would be different if it was just me, but it's somebody else in that video. But it's really funny. So if you want to try that sometime, put your phone on slow-mo and just jump up in the air with no bra on, but with a shirt on.
I feel like that will hurt.
Yeah. I mean, it's not pleasant, but it's hilarious.
Everyone at home, you do this and tell us if it hurts or not before I do this.
Yeah.
But please don't post the video because that's weird. We're not creeps.
Yeah, we don't want to see your slow motion titties. I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends on who you are. Yeah. All right, I just went extra creep.
All right.
But
well, I think that's enough creepy for this podcast.
Hit us up on Twitter with your creep stories, and we'll get at you next week. Bye.
Peace out.